Here we go. All right. That's 51 seconds. All right. Let's work. God first, everything second. Let's cook. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attention, attention, calling all aspiring IT project managers. Are you ready to kickstart your career? If you're really truly ready to kickstart your career, you're going to want to tune in today's episode regarding the ability to navigate into a field called IT or informational technology. If you're new to the channel, I go by the name of ED. For you smart and intelligent folks out there, listen, that just simply means Ed. I have an 8-point framework, and these 8 points, my goal, my mission, my job today is to unpack today's title, which is entitled How to Become a Project Manager in Tech. Again, how to become a project manager in tech. You mind if I tell you a brief story? I'll try to keep it brief. You know I'm long-winded. How I fell into this thing as far as being because I started when I got into project management, I started off as like more or less of working, I'll say more like non-IT type projects. And then I had an opportunity where I was job shadowing someone because they were thinking about making a transition. And so I said, hey, I want to job shadow you if that's okay, and just want to learn and watch what you're doing. Let me park there real quick, family. A lot of times you're going to ask yourself questions of saying, well, I come from this field. Like I worked in IT, but I was a developer. Do you think I could be an IT project manager? Or I used to write code. Could I be an IT project manager? See, family, the thing what I'm going to share with you today, I'm going to really unpack. Yes, you can be an IT project manager. You'll probably be more further ahead than most project managers, IT project managers, but that is the disclaimer. The way they're going to lap you or beat you in this of really having true success is their ability to really move forward in some of the skills that I'm going to discuss here today. Now, I know I could talk about, oh, well, you need to understand all the different technologies and this. No, we're not even going in that direction. The reason why we're not going in that direction, family, is because of how I was able to get into IT, how some of my friends and peers were able to get into IT. And it wasn't like the typical path. And I would recommend this path to anyone. And so before you guys, I want to give you this path right now. The path to getting into IT is really getting with an organization that offers opportunity for you to, one, find a mentor, 2, network, and 3, most of all, to see if there's any job shadowing opportunities, or talk with your manager and say, hey, I'm really thinking about getting into, I want to really be an IT project manager. I know I'm a project manager on this side of business, or a project coordinator, or even a program manager. But I want to really get onto the IT side of things. Would you be open to allowing me to go talk with the IT manager and see if I could job shadow one of his project managers, one of those type of things? That's what I actually did, family, is job shadow. And then when I seen how effective that was, I was like, oh, I wonder if I can duplicate that. And so that's what I did. I did some job shadowing. I did some, I also did some volunteering as well, because I understood the importance of being able to get on the job training. So let's unpack today's episode. Point number 1, gain hands-on experience. What does that mean? The ability really to look for opportunities where you can gain experience in IT project management. One of the things that I was able to pick up and job shadowing and volunteering is those words. You're like, what do you mean those words? So in project management, we use a lot of acronyms. We use a lot of words that if you're not into this thing that I love, that I hope you fall in love with, called project management, it's not even going to make an ounce of sense. But I realized being around those people, understanding the language that they were speaking, understanding how they were addressing things as far as problem solving, these were key factors that really allowed me to have the success that I had as an IT project manager, because of the fact that I was willing to go and do whatever I could do to go learn it. I mean, there was certain situations where I had more experience from a project management standpoint than the actual IT project manager, but I didn't know how you navigate around in that particular field. So I wanted to understand. So I was a student. That's why I always talk about, family. Sometimes you have to set your pride aside and become a student. Matter of fact, do it more. Put your pride aside and become a student, because in becoming a student, I got an opportunity to get hands-on experience. He gave me little tasks that to him, he thought maybe, oh, he's probably going to quit or walk away. And I even asked him, again, I know this is probably, hopefully this doesn't be a long-winded episode, but I'm really passionate about this particular piece as well when it comes to IT, because I've been in it for more than a decade. So one of the things that I really understood at that time was I was also being tested, because there were a lot of other project managers that went to this IT project because he was one of the best. And they were like, and he would give them tasks, and they were like, man, I'm not taking no notes at a meeting. I'm already taking meeting minute notes. So you want me to go to your meeting? And he did, and what they were missing out on was the opportunity to understand the conversations. Because when you have to understand the conversation, this gives you a leg up on someone that doesn't know. When you start saying, well, what's all covered under infrastructure? Can you tell me about networks that's in infrastructure? And again, the conversation. So again, find ways that you can gain experience, family. I know a lot of times we'll say, well, the job is not offering me an opportunity to get experience. Okay, well, is this the career path that you want to go down? If it is, you need to find an organization, or better yet, when you are interviewing for position, you need to be able to ask about, hey, do you guys have mentor programs? Do you guys offer any programs for career? How do you guys handle people's career? These are questions you need to ask, because you also have to keep in mind, family, you're interviewing them as well as they're interviewing you. So again, look for opportunities in which you can gain additional experience. Family, as I stated before, is also in the post as well, that we do have my mentor, my buddy, my good friend, Phil is having a project manager 360 seminar. You need to go check it out. With no further ado, again, that's Saturday, May 4th, 2024. Let's go into point number 2. Develop stakeholder management skills. Family, when you have an opportunity to really, because projects, people keep forgetting what the main core of projects is, and it's really people. People are the ones that really help drive projects. And I know I got some of my smart people out there. Well, what about AI? Okay, yeah, I know, but I'm saying in general, family, that normally people are the ones that participate and help assist and lead projects. So you want to be able to identify, analyze, and engage IT projects, including the users, the sponsor, just like you would if it was a non-IT project. But what's unique about this is with what I learned in being in IT is that you have to bring people together. And I'm going to touch on that particular point as well when we get there. But it's going to be imperative that you do it when you're leading your project. So having the ability to really lead your stakeholders, really inspire, influence, equip your stakeholders to have the success that they're looking for is going to be key. So that's a really key attribute for you to have the success that you will want as an IT project manager. Point number 3, understand change management. Whew. Yeah, you want to understand change management, especially in IT, because when you're in a good organization, you know the motto here, documentation is going to be conversation. And When you work in a great, or I should say exceptional organization, they will make sure your documentation is to a T, especially if they go through different audited practices, internal and external. Internal meaning that a team internally works on the auditing and ensuring that the change management process is they'll pull samples of different changes to make sure that they're aligned with the policies and procedures that were put in place. So what I'm saying there, family, is make sure that you understand the principles and the procedures and practices when it comes to actually change management, because you'll be shocked in IT. I was having so many different changes, and it depends on what you're working on. If you're working on applications, you may have a lot of different changes because during going through the process, you realize this is not going to work for what we need. And then on the other side of it is that, especially if you're leveraging more of a predictive or waterfall type of methodology, it's sometimes you can get to the middle. It's been project I almost got to the end, and we was like, ooh, this is not going to be a good product. So we're going to take what was good and we're going to remix this and put it in another project and see if we can get a good product out of this. So you want to make sure, family, that you understand the change management process. Disclaimer: this will not happen overnight. Disclaimer: this will not happen in 24-hour. Disclaimer: yes, you don't have to have experience, but yes, you do have to have experience. And the experience that I think you need to have, you don't at it depends on what level you are in as far as an IT project manager, and how the organization sees you as a project manager. Now, I've been in some organizations where they leaned on the project manager, the IT project manager, to have that technical prowess when it came to being able to articulate out the technical issues. Then I've been in other other organizations where this is where I truly believe they did it right, is where you have a subject matter expert. That person's job is to be the expert at whatever the technology is. However, your job is to be able to take all that technical mumbo jumbo, as I would say, and boil it down into being able to articulate out what is actually where you're at in the project. What are any impediments or issues that you're seeing? How is the project moving along? What do you need from us type deal? So you have to be able to take all of that and boil it down to really a high level, especially when you're going into the C-suite and having conversations with them. Even though your CIO may be, very technically savvy, you still may have others in there. That you may have a CFO in there. You may have who else? Actually, the CEO. So they want to know where we're at and how. If you're stuck in anywhere, who do you need, and when can we get you out of that situation? That is a good organization, and I've worked in a really great fair share of organizations that really lean towards that versus you being the technical SME, because I've never really seen it work so well when you have a project manager that knows, IT project manager that is more technical than the team that he is leading. Because for some odd reason, I've checked with some of my peers about that too, and they were like, they feel it. I don't want to use the word intimidated, but it just never goes well as well as it should be. But you want to have a basis and a foundation for actually going through that. Let's move on to point number 4. Develop problem solving and critical thinking. Listen, family, this is another one of those soft skill sets. I'm going to remix that. I don't like using the word soft skill sets, but it's really one of those skill sets that, again, is transferable, meaning that if you have project management background, even if you don't have a project management background, but if you can understand if you can develop, how am I going to solve a problem? How am I going to leverage critical thinking? And effectively, in a sense, too, by when you're leading projects, because I've worked on some IT projects that they were very complex, and it took we had meetings to unpack, hey, all right, I got the whiteboard up. I'm gonna just start writing down what are all the problems. Okay, we got the problems. What are all the solutions to the problems we just identified? Here's the caveat. If you find yourself spending too much time on the problem instead of the actual solution, you've already sunk your boat, as they would say. You've already gave up. So this is another skill set. That's why it goes into this developing problem solving and critical thinking. You have to push the team and say, hey guys, I know all of these are the problems. You're right, but let me ask you guys a really intelligent question, because I'm working with intelligent people and I don't want to talk down to you. So that's why I'm talking up to you. I have to understand, why are we spending so much time on the problem? And just pause and see what somebody says. And you probably, the feedback they'll get was like, well, that problem is such a, and you're right, but isn't the whole goal is to solve it so we can move on and fix the problem and get better, whatever. I'm sorry, I just had a flashback. That's the reason why I'm so passionate about that, because I've seen in certain projects that I've led, the team can get so caught up in the actual problem that they miss the opportunity to really build solid solutions. All right, let's move on to point number 5. Understanding risk management in IT. Listen, I mean, you want to understand that in general, but having the ability to identify, assess, find a mitigated response to the particular risk that was identified, ensuring that your risk register is up to date, ensuring that your issue log is up to date, ensuring that you have the ability to hold people accountable for the risk that they've been assigned. If you're not able to do that, it's going to be an uphill battle, but that's okay. You still can make it. So what I want to recommend is making sure you understand these artifacts. Go risk management. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to be speaking on May 4th, 2024 or 2024. This is a Saturday. I'm going to be speaking on risk management. So I'm going to do probably about a 10-minute seminar around just risk management in general. So you definitely want to check that out if you don't understand risk management. And you need to be able to be able to identify risk, and then when you identify them, continue to working with the team to ensure they don't flip over and turn into an actual issue. Let's move on to point number 6. Build a network in the IT industry. I'm not talking about building. I'm talking about building a network of people. Being able to build a network of people that will allow you to ask them questions, vulnerable questions. That's what I did. I went in there with my, I would go in, I would set up meetings with them and say, hey, do you mind if I get 30 minutes? There's some technical things I want to understand from a high level. And I'm going to tell you this, and it's rare. It was really rare until somebody said something to me. They was like, Edward, you know what I like about you is the fact that if you don't know it, you're not ashamed to come and ask, and you're just like a student. I was like, yeah, I don't have a choice. I mean, I can sit around and be prideful and like, I'm not going to go talk to the subject matter expert and no. I set up meetings. If I'm hearing something that's way over, I'm like, hey, we need to boil this down because I got to go speak to this. That's how you said it. I got to go speak to this. And if I got to go speak to this, I need to know what I'm speaking about because I learned that lesson. This is a lesson message. If you don't understand what you're talking about, that's on a particular slide, or if you don't understand what someone has told you, you need to slow them down and make sure you can get a common ground. Because what you don't want to happen is you walking in your hallways, you accidentally bump into your CEO or your CIO or your CFO, and they ask you, hey, how's your day going? Oh, it's going really well. How's that project, by the way? And you're like, oh, it's going really well. Oh, that's interesting. He said, because I heard something where the network went down for 5 hours and then you sitting there like, what? So I'm saying all that to say, family, building a network where you can talk with your peers or talk with even people that are above you, where you can learn from them. Take them to lunch, set up meetings, buy donuts or something simple. Just say, hey, I just want to spend an hour or 30 minutes with you. And if you don't mind, I'd like to set up maybe a weekly or bi-weekly session where you help me understand some of this technology aspect. Because again, I gave you the two separate, the different scenarios. Scenario 1, where IT project managers, where I've been in, where you needed to be as good or as exceptional as the subject matter expert. And then I worked in other organizations where they didn't want you to be that great at the technical aspect because of the fact of that's why they surrounded you with subject matter expert and very technical savvy people, that this is what they do day in and day out. For you, you're leading a project And your job is to execute on the thing that they figured out that they wanted to do collectively. So again, build you a network of people that you can connect with that can help you. Point number 7, develop communication and collaboration skills. You already knew this was coming. This is why we have that in the book, The Magnetic Project Manager. We talk about the importance of communication, presentation, having the ability to articulate yourself in a way that is well received, or you know what I like to say here, knowing your audience. The ability to know your audience and who you're dealing with. You may want to temper down certain ways of how you would say things. And so I say all that to say, fostering a strong communication and collaboration within your team is going to allow you to have a better success at leading projects as an IT project manager. Let's move on to point number 8. I kind of briefly touched on this about learning what is IT infrastructure. What is IT infrastructure? And I'm talking about the components of IT infrastructure. So the components at a very high level, I won't cover all of them, but you got your server, you have your network, you have databases, things of that nature. Understanding just at a very high level, okay, what is a database? What is a network? Do we have different flavors of our network? What is how are our servers? Are they on-prem or in the cloud? On-prem means on I was going to say in private, but no, on the premises. And so, and if it's in the cloud, are we using Azure, AWS? What is the cloud? What is the cloud source that we're using? So again, these are things that, again, family, it's not going to happen overnight. And I don't want you, because I know what's going to happen. You're going to do like I did, and you're going to beat yourself up and be frustrated, like, why am I not understanding this stuff right? It's going to take time. But when it starts clicking, you're like, ooh. And it's just like anything. It's like riding a bike. I believe any job within realm is teachable, but you got to have somebody that's coachable, somebody that doesn't want to get to the destination so fast that they, again, miss the journey of what they're learning and who they're becoming and how they're changing, how they look at things. All right, I'll move on, family. I have 2 bonuses for you, and then I'll close. First bonus, gain relevant certifications. So again, I'm going to talk about the ones I have. There's some that I would recommend, depending on where you want to go with this career. So of course, you know, I'm going to say CAPM, PMP, ACP as well, and getting your CSM, being a certified Scrum Master. Some other ones I would recommend is Project Plus. I haven't took it. I recommend it just to see if it's something you're interested in. What else would I give? Yeah, I think really those will really help you. I mean, I could go into other like more technical sound type of things, but more or less, you really want to get your project management basis underway. So again, CAPM, PMP, ACP, certified Scrum Master, because you may have to lead. You may have to be a Scrum Master and lead actual sprints, and so you want to make sure, and you're really not leading, but because the team is self-organized. But what I mean by that is being able to be a Scrum Master, and you want to be able to put that hat on if you have an application project or any project that could be able to use a more Scrum or Agile mindset. All right, family, let's move on to my last and final bonus. Last and final bonus is very simple, very, very unique, but very simple. Just understand IT project management. And you're like, what do you mean? Understanding the fundamental processes, methodologies, and when I say fundamental process, meaning fundamental concept. What are the concepts? Remember, that's what I was saying to you, where I was saying, family, that this is going to take time to pick up on some of these concepts, but well, I shouldn't say in every, but the majority, let's put it that way, there's a fundamental concept. So for project management, the fundamental concept is the triple constraint. That is a fundamental concept. I can go anywhere in the world, and if they are PMP, I should be able to say, what is the fundamental concept of project management? What is the iron triangle? And they should be able to tell me cost, schedule, quality, and of course, scope. They should be that is a fundamental process. So what you will want to do is I would recommend taking, if you want to go deeper on that, taking a class on Udemy or taking a class on Skillshare, or maybe wait till my class that drops around IT project management. But again, family, I want you to ensure that you don't get so caught up in the learning process or the learning cycle, because that has been me as well. I'm just sharing what's happened to me that worked well, that what didn't work well, so you guys don't have to repeat my bad mistakes, and you can take advantage of some of the good things I did right. So one of the things is that get out of that learning cycle. When you get in that learning cycle, you're learning, but you're not applying. So what you want to be able to do is learn, then go apply, learn, then go apply. So being able to apply is going to give you that real world feedback and say, okay, you know what, I know we were trying to run a scrum type approach mindset here. That's not going to work for this. We're probably going to have to take more of a predictive, basically a waterfall approach. Here's my 3 closing remarks, family. I apologize for I kept you too long. Here's the very first one: develop problem solving and critical thinking skills. As I stated earlier, this key attribute right here is going to help you to be able to navigate, especially if you're someone that's new to being an IT project manager, being able to problem solve. Who's the who that I need to get this issue resolved? And then once I get the who, what is needed after that? So, creating yourself a framework of how you're going to go addressing problems and critical thinking. Point number 2, develop communication and collaboration skills. Like I said, a project manager ability to articulate verbally and articulate through written word, as well as body language. We don't talk about that a lot of times, because you'll have somebody and you have to be able, I call it a watcher of people, in which you'll be talking, and as you see I'm talking, my hands are moving, and if there's somebody in that room that, when you do that, if you're someone that speaks with your hand, and all of a sudden you see somebody just watching your hand like move, and you'll catch it real fast. And so for them, they're not able to pay attention to what you're saying, and because they're too busy watching your hands. So you have the ability just to sit there and keep your hands still, so they can pay attention to what the message is. So again, that's just one of the things about communication, and then of course collaboration. You want to break up as many silos as you can, because I'm going to tell you this, family, the more you can get people collaborating together, not only will they be watching your back, and you'll be watching their back as well. So that way, hey, if I fall or I slip, you got me, and vice versa. I'm not going to let you fail, and you're not going to let me fail. That means we're all going to win. And the last and final point, family, is understanding risk management in IT. Again, you want to document. I think I feverishly documented so many risks and issues, because again, documentation beats conversation. So I say all that to say, family, listen, this IT project management is an amazing career. I enjoyed it. I do know there's some shifts in technology that's happening nowadays, but I really enjoyed it because, again, it gave me an opportunity. And I can't speak more on the non-IT stuff. When I say I can't speak on it, meaning that I think I spent maybe 2, 3 years tops in non-IT stuff. And so the comparison to me was, I felt like I had way more problems and problem child, but seriously, I had way more problems in IT with regards to, and it was a good thing, because it taught me how to solve problems. It taught me how to leverage critical thinking. It taught me how that I can't just go in a little silo by myself and working on things that I normally would like to do. I need to have the team be a part of it. I need to collaborate. And then finally, just ensuring that I documented the risk appropriately, so we can track them. So just in case if something happened, we can adjust them. Hey, family, again, I appreciate you. Man, I'm giving you everything that I got, and I still got more to take. I'm going to keep going, family. If you enjoy today's episode, do me a slight favor. It's not going to cost you anything. Leave me a comment. Until next time, you know my slogan. I'm out.